Hey Wanderers, I have been out for about 2 months and I haven't been uploading videos or anything else. I've been having some personal struggles. I'm out here at the lake. I'm underneath the mountain rock up there. You see the water levels are still down. It is February 12th. Water levels are still this low. A little bit scary. So yeah, I've had some personal injuries that have been making me struggle with stuff. I haven't been able to do any hikes for 2 full months now. It's been really weighing on me. Actually, probably a little over 2 months because it was December when I stopped doing hikes. So this video is going to go up today, February 12th. I'm going to upload some of the other videos that I've got and try to get that done. I was forced out of work. I had been going to work with my injuries and stuff like that, and they finally pushed me out, forced me to FMLA. So now I'm waiting to make appointments for MRIs and this kind of stuff to prove that I'm able to keep going to work. Being out of work the last couple of weeks has definitely helped my hip injury. But at any rate, it's been very discouraging. I've been struggling with a lot of other things personally. Just tons of different stuff going on in my head and going on with life. Had a chance to watch a lot of different videos and stuff. My fellow creators, I guess they are calling us when we put up videos like this. I don't know that I would be called a creator since I'm not really doing anything other than just filming stuff as I walk around or, stuff like that. So just sharing, I guess. Watching many of these men versus women type things with feminism and all this other stuff, and it really is an intriguing aspect. So the topic of this video is, how does a male chauvinist father who still believes in chivalry and still believes in being a strong male raise a daughter to be a good woman in the modern day world? Yeah, right? Well, here's my thoughts, and here's what I'm doing, and here's what I'm hoping for the result of, and this to me is what proper feminism should be, and that should be coming from men as to helping their daughters become solid, strong females that are still females and are still the partner for males that, well, for me, God intended. And for science that biologically is required to populate the species. Whichever way you want to look at it. So, I guess you have to really start with, what is a good man? And a good man is somebody who will use his strengths and support those who do not have those strengths. Now that can be anybody and anything. A good man will take care of a mentally handicapped man just as readily and easily as he would take care of a pretty young girl. If they need something, a good strong man is going to help them get it, is going to help them achieve it themselves, is going to support their pursuit of what they are trying to do. This to me is a good man. And it can go further and say this to me is a good person, because all people are able to do that. All people are able to support each other in their endeavors to better their lives and to do good things for themselves and others. We're all capable of that. So a good man simply uses his strength to help others achieve that in themselves. So what is a good woman? A good woman is the same exact thing. A good woman is someone who uses her strengths to help and improve the lives of others around them. Okay? Well, how does that differ? Well, it differs because men and women have different strengths. By general default, a woman tends to have a stronger sense of empathy, a stronger sense of nurturing, a stronger sense of emotional connection. Okay, those are their strengths. Those are the areas in which they resoundingly prove better at understanding and dealing with in the long run, and as a general rule, than men. That's not to say men don't have those as strengths themselves. There are lots of men that have that kind of a strength as well. They're fewer and further between, I believe, than in women, that's for sure. And there are also women who don't have those strengths, but that's okay too. So what is a man's strength? A man's strength is his endurance, his logic, and his ability to pursue a resolution stubbornly. Those are strengths in men. Whether we view them that way or not is our choice, but they are strengths. They are what has helped people to struggle through difficult things, and come out on top, to come out better than what they came in. So these are strengths. Now, these are very basic, very, what do we say, instinctual strengths, I guess you could call it. They're just natural. They're like programmed into a male or a female existence under a general tendency. Okay? Again, these can be different in everybody and individually, but we're trying to address a situation that people continually try to generalize when there really isn't a way to absolutely generalize it because of the individuality that exists within all humans. So, again, we come back to man versus woman, strengths versus weaknesses. Now, weaknesses, you can't really generalize those things, because men have feelings, they have a connection with emotion, they have a connection with empathy. It tends to be kind of limited, but it's there. And a lot of men are able to access it when they choose to. But logically, it's very difficult to make the decision to logically choose to empathize with somebody else when, in fact, what we are programmed for really is to resolve the problem. We're not necessarily designed to help somebody solve the problem. We're not necessarily designed to, encourage somebody and say, this would be good for you emotionally to do this and to work towards this, and I can help you get to this. That's not our nature. Our nature is, this is the problem? Okay, let's solve it. Here, we can do this, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. This is done, that's done. There you go, problem solved. Yeah, but the problem is solved, but the emotional damages, the emotional residue, whatever you want to call it, from the individual that we just helped solve their problem, they're still going to struggle if that problem comes up again, if we didn't teach them how to handle that problem. And that's kind of where women come in and say, okay, all right, that's a good solution. Now let's see how can we implement that in the best way for that person. So this is another thing that makes women and men compatible, is because they complement each other's strengths. Their strengths are complementary. They're supportive. They are assistive. They help. So having a man and a woman confront a problem together, you're going to come out with the best solution possible for everybody involved. This is where I think people just stop believing, where they stop, focusing on the fact that we're in it together. We are all human. It doesn't matter male or female. It doesn't matter, any of these projected, whatever things as well. Just going scientifically and biblically, male and female, there are two separations in the human species. A male that, helps propagate the species by impregnating a female. That's just the raw fact of science, and you can't argue that. There's just no way to argue that. I mean, yes, we can identify as everything. I can identify as a duck. It doesn't make me one. These are just terminologies and verbal, explorations of imagination that we're trying to propagate into reality, which is just never going to happen. So, at any rate, coming back round full circle, how then does a father raise a daughter? So how does a man raise a woman to be a good woman? Well, they simply try to help that woman understand their own environment, their own strengths, their own perceptions of the world, and they also try to help the woman learn a man's perception of the world and explain as much as they can to them, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I am choosing this. This is what I feel about this. This is why I think about this. And explaining that to the woman. A father explains these things to his daughter. That's a good father, because that daughter will grow up with an understanding of men and the methods behind their thought process. They will understand the reasoning behind what the father is deciding to do and is trying to do. And that's a very vital thing for a woman to understand. And it's very difficult for a man to explain it to a partner, to a wife, to a dating individual, because we aren't intimate with women on that level. Now, with our daughters, we are, and we are able to be a much easier intimacy there, where we can open up and say, this is what I'm thinking, this is why I'm thinking it, this is the decision I'm making based on these thoughts. And it's good for us as much as it's good for our daughter. So this is where you really have to let yourself be weak. You have to let yourself be that perception of male weakness and open your emotions to your daughter so that she can understand and see how you're thinking, why you're thinking, and what you're deciding on based on those thoughts and feelings. Because that will help her understand you as a man, and will help her understand men in the future as well. And you have to explain to her that they're not going to open up to her. She's not going to find a boyfriend that's going to be the same way as you, and that's okay. The thing is that boyfriend is the same way, and at some point may become close enough to her to be that intimate with her as well, as long as she is open and supportive to that intimacy. And if she has an understanding of it, guess what? She's going to be open to it. So that, I think, is one of the best ways that a man can help a girl become a woman that is capable and understanding of being a partner to a man. I'm not going to raise my daughter to not know how to change a tire. I'm not going to raise my daughter to not know how to change the oil in her car. I'm not going to raise my daughter to not know how to fight if she needs to fight for her life. She will know these things. I will teach her these things, and she is already learning them. And that's okay, and that's a good thing too, because she should be a strong woman. She should not be afraid to be alone. But she should also not feel like she doesn't need anybody in her life. We all need people in our lives. We all need our parents. We all need our friends. We all need we all need employees or an employer so that we can survive in the modern money-driven world. These are things that she will learn, and she will be very comfortable supporting herself and knowing that she is capable of all of these things. Does that mean that she's going to tell any man that comes into her life, "Oh no, you don't have to do that. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need you to do that for me." No. If somebody is saying, "Hey, can I help you with that?" My daughter will learn that that's an okay thing. Sure, that'd be great. I would enjoy the help. But she's going to be a part of what's going on. If he's going to help her change a tire on the side of the road, she's going to get the stuff out of the trunk for him. She's not going to just stand there and go, "Oh, thank God, I didn't know how to change a tire." That's BS. No, she's going to help. She's going to be a partner to that individual while they're helping her do whatever she's doing that they asked if they could help. This is where I think we lose the connection between modern feminism and the male role. Men are going to offer to help. It's a natural tendency. They want to help things. They want to solve problems. They want to be the resolution because that's what they feel their value is resolving problems and fixing it and having it done. That is a man's worth, a man's value. A woman's value and worth is understanding it and understanding the emotions of it and the feeling of it and being nurturing to raise and to educate and to help people identify themselves and who they are and all these things. That's a good thing too. But you put those two things together and you have something that is unstoppable. You have something that creates the civilization in which we live, because it has been both men and women that have created the world we live in. And yeah, it's all screwed up. And you can say it's screwed up because of women, it's screwed up because of men. Well, guess what? It's screwed up because both of them are being idiots and trying to stand on their own. And that's not what we're here for. It's not how we're designed, whether it's scientifically or biblically. We are not designed to stand alone. We are designed, we are evolved, we are created, we are whatever you want to say, to be partners, to have a man, to have a woman be united together in order to keep the species going, but also in order to perceive the world in a unified, joint way that explains to both and enables both to be stronger than they are in all aspects of their individuality. Okay? So this is where that break comes in, and this is where I think we have to fix it, and we have to fix it by teaching our children there is no break. There is no separation between men and women, that we are two parts of the same. We are two parts of the whole. We are two parts of the human species, and the more we work together, the more advanced we will become, the more understanding we will become, the more strong we will become, it's a given. In any situation, look where men and women are working together, are understanding each other, are listening to each other, are communicating and joining forces and acting together, and you will find a strong, strong couple. You will find a strong community. You will find a strong environment that not only thrives, but strives to improve and increasingly gets better and better and stronger. It's just the way we're made, man. And the faster we admit that, and the faster we acknowledge that, and start teaching that to our children, the faster we break free from all of these stupid individualistic views of men are better, women are better, men suck at this, women suck at that. Yeah, we all do. That's why we're supposed to act together, guys. That's why we're supposed to act together. So, at any rate, like I said, I'm putting this video up today. It's a little different than normal, obviously, but it's something I just have been feeling so strongly about and so compelled to put up. Fathers, raise your daughters to understand how you're thinking, why you're thinking, what you're doing. Help them understand the methods, the reasons, the logic that brought you to the decision you're making. Help them understand your train of thought. Help them understand your logic. Help them understand you on a emotional level, because that is the best thing that you can ever teach your daughter, is how a man is thinking and how they're coming up with the ideas they're coming up with and what they're doing about it. Give them that understanding. And when they ask you questions, answer them. Don't say, well, because I'm the dad, that's why. Don't do that. Stop. Listen to the question. Provide the answer. Be intimate with your daughter. Let her know who you are, why you are the way you are, what you're thinking. Let her in, man, because that will give her the strength in the future to be what she needs to be. Teach her how to be strong. Teach her how to fight. Teach her how to stand for herself. Teach her how to live life as though she was the last woman on earth and she just has to survive. Teach her all of those things. But teach her also that when somebody says, hey, can I help you with that? She can say yes. It doesn't damage her strength. It doesn't weaken her. It doesn't make her any different. It doesn't change what she's capable of doing. It just gives her somebody to help out for that event. And that's good. That's a good thing. That's an okay thing. Teach her that. Let her know that. Because when she becomes a woman, and it's going to happen so fast, but when she becomes a woman, she will look at the modern feminism movement and say, man, you guys got it wrong. You don't get it. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. We got to work together. Teach her to be a strong woman that can stand up and say, hey, I'm not afraid to handle things alone, but man, I'm not afraid to have help either, because it'll go faster, it'll be better, it'll work out more thoroughly, it'll have a better solution if we work together. Teach her that. And if you have boys, teach them that too. Teach them the same thing. Teach them, hey, if a woman is saying, hey, I don't need the help and whatever, say, hey, that's all right. I just wanted to help you out. If you want, I can just stand by in case you do need some help. I can wait for you. Any of that kind of thing. Teach them to be good men, but teach them to be patient and understanding, because modern women are in that position where they've been, well, where they are. We all know where they are, and we all know where we are. Let's teach our kids not to be in that same place. Let's not raise our kids to be in the same place that we're in. It's not a good one. Change it. Moms, same thing. If you're raising boys, explain to them, hey, this is why I think this way. I'm an emotional type person, and I want to understand how you're feeling, and I get it. I understand. If you don't want to talk to me, talk to your dad. Talk to somebody. Let them know, because it's okay to talk to somebody. You can talk to me. And when they do talk to you, moms, when they do talk to you, don't tell them, oh, well, you just don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Don't say those kind of things to your son. Your son doesn't need to hear that he doesn't understand. Your son needs to hear how to understand. Teach them how to understand it. Teach them the questions to ask. Like, oh, I just don't get it, man. This guy at school is picking on me and blah blah blah, and I just don't get it. Moms, don't just sit there and go, well, you're probably just upsetting him. Just avoid them. Just don't go near them. Don't tell your sons that, right? And in fact, ask them to ask their dad, or get dad involved and be part of that conversation with dad, or a male figure or whatever. I mean, I know the situations are never, ideal, but work it out. There's ways. When we're trying to help the opposite sex, we have to understand that we don't know what they're exactly going through because we're not them. We're not the opposite sex. We don't have that view. We don't have that perception. And we should not project it that we do. We need to let them know, well, as a guy, this is what it would mean to me, and then as a woman, well, this is kind of how it's coming across to me, and then look for the middle ground between those two. Find that middle ground and say, okay, all right, so yeah, I can see that point. I can see that point. Hey, you know what? All right, so instead of avoiding, why don't we just, try to talk to this person in a more public environment? Maybe there's just a misunderstanding going on here. Maybe we can find some mutual ground for these two that are having the issues. And that goes for the girls too, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, if we work together, if we find a guy and a girl to talk about the situation that this boy or this girl is having, you're going to have a better solution if you have a male and female perspective on it than you will if you just have one or the other. Find a counselor, find a school counselor, find a teacher, find, somebody of the opposite sex that your child will listen to, that your child has respect for, and work with that person to come together and find a solution to the problem as a pair, as a joint. And I think that we would resolve a lot of problems a lot quicker with a lot better resolutions than we do trying to do as we are. So fathers, raise your daughters to understand who you are, how you think, and why you think the way you do. Mothers, understand, raise your boys to understand the empathy you have and the nurturing that you're trying to provide, and why and who you are. That's where we're going to find the resolution to this man versus woman BS. Because it's not a versus. It's a man with woman creates a better solution to any problem. Literally any problem. It doesn't matter. Any problem. You will find a better solution if you come at it with a male and female perspective to find the resolution for it. It's been proven time and time again throughout history. We can think we can find the best solution and da-da-da. Government's a good example. Let's look at how governments have worked and not worked. Because they have primarily been under a male-dominated control. They ain't working. They're collapsing. All the time they're collapsing. History repeats itself over and over and over. Come at it different, man. Don't emulate a Roman Empire that collapsed. Don't imitate a monarchy that struggles to stay afloat as a monarchy. Become a true democracy. Become a true union of male and female perspective, of human perspective. Become united in saying, hey, Here's the base needs of all humans. We as a government need to meet these first. This is a talk for a different thing. And maybe we'll touch on that one next. How do we improve our governments? Well, let's start first with fixing our kids so that they don't have the same freaking stupid issue of man versus woman when they grow up. Because if they were born today, in 20 years, they're going to be part of society. That's a short time frame, man. We've only got 20 years to help these kids learn how to be together, how to face the world together, how to come together as a human species, to come together as man and woman, to come together as black, white, red, yellow, whatever the colors are. I don't give a crap because there aren't any in my head. Because we're human. The only differences I see are men and women. But the way I see it, both of them make a single human. And a single human is infinitely wise, infinitely strong, infinitely capable, infinitely connected. Because together, we connect. Together, we create. Together, we find resolutions that are creative and advance us. Even in our chemistry, even in our biology, when we come together and create another human, it's an improvement. Can be. If we stop breaking it and screwing it up and start educating it to work together, start educating it that we're all the same, start educating it with the fact that, hey, you've got ideas, so do they, so do they, so do they. Let's put these ideas together. Let's find a way to make these ideas become a reality in a good way. We can do it. In 20 years, we could have a group, a generation that is very different from any generation before it. Generation we. Where we become the people, we the people. Not of the United States, not of any government, not of any, but we become human beings. A united group of human beings. Generation we. I think we should work for that. I think we should aim for that. I think we should strive for that. And start teaching our kids. We are people. Man, woman, doesn't matter. We are people. And together, we can do anything. Thanks for joining me, Wanderers. Sorry the video's been kind of bland, but I just wanted to talk. I wanted to get it out there. I'm going to go get this posted here pretty soon. And I'll try and get some of the other videos edited. Waiting for calls from doctor's offices for appointments and things like that. So hopefully I can get some appointments in this week. And my follow-up doctor on the 23rd will hopefully approve me to get back to work. And I can get back to doing the things that I enjoy doing. Get back to the things that I need to do in order to keep us afloat. Alright, appreciate y'all. Talk to you later.